man.
We rocking and rolling.
Okay.
Man. Like hustle and flow.
Okay.
Rocking and rolling like hustle and flow. Y'all
Y'all
ready to go?
Yeah.
All right, y'all. Yes, indeed. Do not attempt to adjust your radio. We have taken control. This is taking over to bring you this show. You know that old funkadelic thing. You are tuned in to Kato and the TMOD Crew Morning Show, and we got a special guest for you this morning, y'all. So we gonna rock and roll. We're gonna rock and roll butterfly style, right? Ain't that how we do it? Yes, indeed. The whole crew is up in here this Monday morning. We got Agent 99, all the cotton picking time.
Good morning.
We got Big Press, Big Brother Joe Balls.
JB.
And look here, we got special guest Yanni. Say good morning, Yanni.
Good morning,
Say
people.
good morning, Yanni.
Good morning.
All right, y'all.
Buenos dias.
Yes, indeed, we getting started, y'all, on this Monday morning, and Agent 99 got a lot of news for us. Tiago just walked in the door. Will somebody get Tiago a chair? Go grab a chair, Tiago.
Working at my night job, having a conversation with Preston and Kato, I wanted to tell them about this idea I had based on something I saw with two co-workers of mine. And I noticed in their little office they had music playing non-stop. And it was done on the computer. And I was like, wow, I asked them how they did that. I can't remember how they said they did it. It was something that they had their own server or whatever. They had it hooked up. So I got on the phone later on that night with Preston and Kato, and I was telling them, about what I witnessed there. And I said, what if we did something like that? It would be good to have number GoGo music playing. That way you can play what we want to play, what we want to hear, what we don't get from the radio. You know what I'm saying? During that time with the Roboton thing going through the magazine, we was preaching, music. We can play our instruments here and so forth. So Kato took that and ran with it. Next thing you know, we had the first online show. Actually, me and Preston did the very first show.
Yeah.
And I thought it was whack because of the delivery. I didn't have no experience being no radio DJ or nothing. Preston was trying to get me to do it. Always put me out front so he can laugh. So we did that with some guy named Scott House. One of the worst experiences I had because it was an odor in there. And we eventually had characters based on that experience. One of the first characters was Stinky Scott in the Pit. Everybody know about that guy that's throwing bowls, sweating. He all about that crank. He in the pit. And he's stinking. But we did that first show and got it to Kato to put it out there. And then from there, you took it and put some juices and berries on it. And, like in classic Kato fashion, took it over. Came up with a name and everything.
So the thing about TMOD, the thing about Kato was the forefront of technology. If it was about to be the thing that's about to be done, Kato was already on it. So Kato was already like, yeah, we get this together and hook up these wires and you got a radio show on the internet. I don't know nothing about that, but Kato was always on it. So from sitting around talking about that, discussing music, and it was probably one of those things that was a dream of his. But then by the time Preston came in, because I remember TMOD before Preston Blue, and I remember meeting Preston Blue, and I was like, oh, okay, so he knows stuff, but he was a corporate type guy, but still like one of us. But after a while, I guess they ran it by him, and next thing I know, we had a radio show. It was him, it was Terry, who was like, "What's up, shorty?" on a biscuit couch. I think my brother Rock rolled through there before. And I just trying to find my place. So just writing little dumb stuff or going through the city paper and rewriting stories that I had learned how to write news stories from looking in the newspaper from broadcasting school. And I was just so eager to show off all of those skills and stuff. So that was my shot.
Well, yeah, it was that was the thing. Like Mark said, it was the thing of playing more than the music, but making it radio format, just like the radio. And we felt it was important because radio was playing GoGo. Can't say they weren't playing it, but they were playing it under their conditions and terms, and they were being real gatekeepers with it. You know what I'm saying? So it was more of a thing of okay, we're gonna take what they do on the radio. We're gonna do the exact same thing in formats, meaning formatting the whole shows type of thing, where we can do skits like they do. People during that time, you know, you had folks in the morning on like Russ Parr and them, and Olivia Fox, they would do skits and stuff like that. So we were taking that same kind of format and putting it online, giving it the same exact feel. If you turn the radio on in, you can turn the internet on in, and you get it. So
the radio piece was a streaming service where it was just non-stop go-go, basically 24 hours a day for people, whether they're at work or in their cars or whatever it was they were doing. It's just, what's really interesting to me is that Kato was able to pull that off in 2005, 2006 era, where that was hard. Like, we got SoundCloud, and we have Stitcher, and we have iTunes. Like, we have so many of these outlets now, Anchor, where you can just have sound and you can set up stations. I mean, you were building infrastructure to make that stuff work. Now we have apps that do it.
We in turn went from there, and we called it WTGL. It was basically, you know, TMOTTGoGo. You know, every radio station started with a W. So we just called it Washington TMOTTGoGo and WTGL, and we would go down to the woodshed.
Oh, the woodshed.
So once again, it was Mark, myself, Preston, 99, Big Weeze, and Terry.
First show, the woodshed. That was Keith Holmes' house. And Keith Holmes is the best. He's still one of my very favorite people. And he keeps stuff the same way that I did. So I think I took to him because he would open up boxes and albums of pictures and pictures of different bands I had never heard of. And he knew when they played and all the information about them. And it was just finding a treasure. So you're in the woodshed and hearing about the history of it. You could tell by the way he and Kato talked, or the way he and Mark talked, all the history of the woodshed and going back and all the things they had been through in different bands and musicians. So I pretty much learned whatever I know about what I now call the core go-go community from being around and hearing people talked about and putting stories together, and then one by one being introduced to different types of people. But the woodshed was just this great hub.
And we would go down there. They were pre-recorded radio shows, so we would go down there on Fridays, and we would be recording. We would have skits together, jingles, songs, the whole format. It was so professionally formatted, and you can still get them today. We still have copies of all the majority of the shows, including the first show. And we would put on skits, and we would play music, and we would talk about whatever the current event was going on.
Did sports.
There was sports.
And most important for me personally, we played musically what we wanted to play.
Yeah.
It's like one of the only places where you can tune in, regardless of what age you are. You know, you could hear a 1981 air raid, you know, early Rare Essence. I would do some editing or some stuff to put it in song format, make it like 4-minute long grooves, make it sound like songs, but you hearing that the true essence of the go-go,
yes,
the funk-based go-go, along with the sounds of that time. It was like, what was it, 99, 98 when we did it?
Yeah, it was we started at like around 98, 99.
Yeah.
Right right around the time after releasing the first magazine. I mean, everything was just falling right behind each other. And we would be there on that Friday night. And we would start around 8 or 9.
Yeah.
And we would be in that joint till 2 in the morning. Just recording. Putting the show together. Then, of course, I would drive all the way back home. And, you know, everything got to be professionally formatted, because the bottom line is, Monday morning, we putting this joint on the TMOTTGoGo website where people can listen to it.
We were in there late at night. It just took forever. I don't know why it took forever. Why did it take forever? We were in there talking and looking through pictures. I wouldn't start writing anything until we got in there. And a lot of times we did it on the fly. You know, we're like, okay, I'm gonna talk about this, you talk about this, blah, blah, blah. And then we get it together. But if you have Preston, and this is how one of the things Preston was so good at, was being a radio host. he was just good. He was natural. He was good. And then you got Mark, who liked to poke at Kato. But then Kato a lot of times was over on the board. So he'd be doing stuff and we'd be over here. But it was funny to have, who's going to do something to piss Kato off and make Kato turn around the board. So that was one of the funny things that we did. But just talking about stuff, just hanging out and doing stuff.
And it kind of, that kind of built from there. And even to the point where I had a promo, I'm pretty good at drawing and stuff, so I would drew characters. That's a funny thing. I drew characters. Drew us in cartoon format. Now, of course, I drew us, and I drew 99 with extra, I guess the pictures, their boobs were kind of larger in the cartoon picture. When
Kato drew the picture of the WTGO, Agent 99 was this thing there. So I remember going, oh, look at that. Like that. First of all, shocked, but I was like, that's dope. So that is the kind of like a character that I was, I think, being for the first couple of WTGO things that we did.
But, and the reason I say it was funny because people knew her voice. In the beginning, remember, people didn't know 99. They knew her voice and they knew the cartoon character that I drew, that we promoted with the cartoon. So everybody had this whole fascination of Agent 99. Her name was getting implanted in people's head, Agent 99. A lot. I know I'm gonna say one because she has an excellent voice for radio, and I'm not saying in a negative way because she's a beautiful girl. But the cartoon image just made it stick out even more. Almost like if you recall the cartoon image of Jessica Rabbit. You know what I'm saying? So it was that kind of thing.
The best analogy I could come up with for TMOD and GoGo would be when radio first started. It was the way that people shared information at scale, right? Because before that, it was smoke signals and people, you had to, not that long ago, we didn't have cell phones where we had to go walk to our neighbor's house to talk to them or call them on the phone. When radio first started, it allowed lots of people, entertainers, news, what have you, to get information in the hands of people at scale because every house had a radio. And then the same thing happened with television. So then the same thing happens with the internet. And TMOT became basically, for lack of a better way to put it, the media company for GoGo. At least to me, and at least in the beginning. And then TMOT had competitors that came in after the fact, but TMOT was still the place. It was the PD Green. Like it was the PD Green of GoGo as far as I'm concerned, where this is the place we go when we want to understand what's happening with the music, with the people that we care about that are in the music, and not only learn about it, but TMOT was really one of the first places I ever saw where it connected you with people that are celebrities to you. Like Twitter does that now, whereas I can send Gary Vaynerchuk or The Rock a message and they may like it. TMOT had me at cookouts with musicians that I used to practice their songs, in the shower or on my bed practicing as a drummer. So for me, it was if you go back to ancient Greek times, it was the court where everybody got together and exchanged information and exchanged relationships. I think without TMOT during that time, I think GoGo would have struggled more than it did because it had a lot of challenges from politicians, people and figureheads in the city challenging what the music was causing, starting as far back as the late 80s into the 90s and 2000s. If it weren't for TMOT, I don't think the word would have got out to help sustain GoGo the way that it was sustained.
All of a sudden, no longer we're the only site online that has a radio station playing GoGo music. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
There's another station, guy named Lowell K. He'd come in, grab the domain name called GoGoRadio.com. So all of a sudden, I'm seeing, okay, wait a minute, is this competition coming up? How do we step our game up or whatever? So a lot of times when competition isn't necessary, the whole thing is to, join as one, because the whole accomplishment as a whole was to reach the same point.
Right.
So what I did, instead of trying to go against him doing, because he's built, TMOD had his name, they needed to build their name And with that format, it wouldn't probably take too long to build it. So I decided to put our radio show that we were doing, WTGL, on the GoGo Radio platform and merge with them. And with, I can say them, it was just Lowell at the time. And so, but to do that, didn't want it to change everything. So, and I wanted, by this time, other people will be coming involved with the projects, Nina and Maya. And I got to bring up Maya. Maya was coming in as well. And
producer.
Right. So decided, I changed the name of the show, and I talked to Lowell. So I'm going to change the name of the show, and it's going to be a morning show. I'm call it Kato and the TMOD crew, because it's not just me. It's a whole bunch of people, not just us, the Circle Core, but even people from the message board who was very active with it, like Tyra and Terrence and
Damon was on
Damon Wood, yeah. And we would do the same exact thing that we were doing, but now under a new label, which was the TMOD Morning Show crew. And so we was doing that as a trade-off with Lowell with GoGo Radio, because we already had the audience, and the audience we was able just to bring them over there onto his platform. And at the same time, he had the server space that I didn't have to worry about running out of server space on mine with the content.
On the radio show, I was the one behind the scenes. I was the super duper producer. Thank you, Preston, for that name.
Kato at the time was doing a show on TMOD. I think it was the beginnings of what became TMOD Radio. And you would bring in personalities from the board, and I think in most cases they were either musicians or people that wrote. And so when I came here, it was Tyra, me, and Preston. And so Preston at the time I think was still playing with, I think he had moved over to God's Blend and wasn't still playing with Exodus at that point. And then Tyra was a huge personality on the board and had done some writing for the magazine. And then me, I was kind of in between both. So I believe I was playing with Submission at that time, and I was writing for the magazine as well.
I believe that I was resourceful, and given the opportunity to be the producer of TMOTTGoGo Radio, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed bringing new news, new tea, or whatever you want to call it, to the show, and just becoming a family with TMOD. I enjoyed it. I really I can't think of one particular role, just me being there. My presence was needed.
Yeah, the radio show was good. I mean, of course, the biggest memory I guess would be when Kato, we got Chuck Brown here.
Yeah, and I appreciate that. They teach me a lot too, and that's one reason I'm still out here. The inspiration from these young people, and of course God, and my family, and my fans, and the bands, and all the musicians that have worked with me through the years. All of this is my inspiration, and these young people out here, they keep the old man hip. They keep Pops hip, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I love it when they call me Pops, and I got to give the people their props.
And again, I was just like, wow, it was, and I got to ask him a question. That was so major. I still tell people that today, y'all don't understand though, because I interviewed him. I asked him a question. So I still tell people that all the time. They're like, whatever. Where's your proof? And I was like, I don't really have it. But
it's true. That's true. That's true.
I'm telling you, man, it's amazing. It is amazing how DC fans are so loyal.
Yeah.
They're so loyal.
And this is a show, like I said, we got the TMOTTGoGo website, and of course, people all day, they're talking to music all day on the message board. So we asked them, a couple of them if they had any questions we would like to ask Chuck. And I think Tyra got, a couple of the questions they wanted to ask. If you had the opportunity to ask Chuck a question, so if you could, I guess, read a couple of those before we roll out.
Sure.
Southern Roots from the message board. He wanted to know, do you consider gospel go-go authentic go-go, and what do you think about gospel go-go in general?
I love gospel go-go. It's like I told you, it's a spiritual thing.
Right.
When I started it, it was a spiritual thing. You know what I mean?
Right.
The call and response to the crowd, and back and forth. they all feeling that same vibe.
He was so cool. He was like so just so laid back. I mean, I think I expected everything that he was. Like, he was just so laid back and just like cool daddy, you know, just like, you know, he was just Chuck Brown, just like cool and just, I mean, he was very calm and just he just answered questions, and you know, he didn't have like an air about him or ego. He was just like chilling, just like, yeah, he showed up by himself and was just like, I'm here, interview me. Like, it was, yeah, he was just very cool. I loved it. That was my best part of being on a radio show, I think.
Oh yeah, man, talk about, man, I was tremendously honored, man, that you Kato would see me to be, you know, someone who could be a part of, you know, the radio show. Because the radio show, it was, you know, it was kind of like the board kind of like coming to life. Because, you know, you get on the radio show, we start talking about stuff on the board. So people want to go to the board. And, you know, we playing new music. But I was the street. I was Deuces Wild in the Streets report. So, you know, I'm telling you, I used to always just go out. Man, I had 3 to 4 go-go's a week. So, you know, we had a brilliant idea, like, hey, man, interview some people. You know what I'm saying? Talk to some people when you go out there. I'm just like this. All right. And then it's like we took it to a whole new level. You know, TMOD gave me like that, the media access pass. I was just like, oh, man, that's all right. So, you know, I come to the door and it was like they wanted whoever, you know, the promoter was, or maybe the band, they wanted to be a part because to them, I mean, that's free promo. You know what I'm saying? So, like, yeah, come on in. So, man, I got to talk to people, man. I did an interview with like, I remember I chased down Rapper from Northeast. I managed to get him, and, you know, I did an interview with him, and just like a lot of times it's GoGo, just people, you know, GoGo patrons, and just, you know, I just wanted to get the vision that I had for it as well was that I just wanted to get people in the natural atmosphere of what was going on. Sometimes it'd be inside, sometimes it'd be outside. You know, I catch them in the parking lot, man. You know, what you think about tonight, man? What the band cranking, dude? And people gave their raw opinions, man. So what it did is, and I just took that back to the show. You know what I'm saying? So it was like, we live in the street. This is what's going on.
The fun times were when we came in to prepare for the recordings of TMOTTGoGo Radio. And as we were prepping, there were times that Nina and Kato used to get into their subliminal, I guess, arguments. And Nina used to look at Kato and say, you don't have to be subliminal, you can be direct, or whatever she would say. It could be anything, and them two was, you know, them two argue. Them two would argue so much, and we'd all sit back and be like, God damn, here we go again. It wasn't a real argument, but one time Kato and Nina got into an argument about how to pronounce Sanai's name, Sanai Lathan. And Nina says Sanai, and Kato said Sanaya, and she said, that's wrong, Kato. He said, who cares? It's Sanai. It's Sanaya Lathan. She said, I care, Kato. I care.
My whole thing, I think, is that people need to just start reaching further. If you reach, there's some good things happening. The Raheem Devine thing, the Big G thing. Those people, they kind of are progressing in what they doing. It's because it ain't nobody. Didn't nobody come knock on Big G door and say, "Hey man, want to come get on the Y?"
Do we have a
You see what I'm
bell?
saying? Right.
Do we have a bell in here?
A bell.
A bell, because I hate when people say Raheem Devine. I hate that.
Well, that's because, you know, I could care how he pronounced it. We had that conversation before.
We did.
Yeah.
Do I always have this outburst?
Yeah, no, you can do that because you,
call him
you're a
Raheem
female
Devine.
fan, so you're supposed to be. Other than that, I mean, I could just call him dude because it don't mean much shit. That's not.
Not only that, come on. Wouldn't you rather call him Raheem Devon than call another dude Divine?
What, William Devine? I don't fuck. Who cares? That's the way my slang is. I don't care about
I
that.
care, Kato.
You know what I'm saying?
I care.
I don't get mad when you say Sanai Lathan.
I I say Sanaa.
But you don't say Sanaya.
I don't say Sanaya. I say Sanaa.
But her name is Sanaya.
But she was Sanaa when she first came out.
No, she was
Sanaya once she got popular.
Nah, she was Sanaa.
Yeah, right.
Okay, if you can't say Sanaa, right?
Yeah, right. Her name's Sanaa.
Dude, break, chill. Go get a room.
Welcome to another edition of TMOTTGoGo, brought to you by TakeMeOutToTheGoGo.com. I'm your host, MC, aka Model Chick, and let's get it started.
Hey, come in the studio.
Man, what a lovely day. Cause all the women wanna play. Right. Cause time is moving fast. I gotta get some cash.
What's going on? I'm Ray, and this is TMOTTGoGo.
Up early in the morning. I'm thinking as I yawn. Hold on. What am I gonna do? I think I'm home.
Hey, sexy people, I'm Agent 99, and this is TMOTTGoGo.
All the women wanna play. It's such a lovely day. The time is moving fast. I gotta get some cash.
What's happening, everybody? This is Kato here. And look here, I'm here right quick just to tell you something special that we got going on at TMOTTGoGo Media.
Pictures in the calendar, What Band, TCB, Sugar Bear, XO Band, After Hours, top bands in the city, familiar faces, all in the calendar. Very good look. Photo cover, Chuck Brown. Doesn't get any better than that.
I see you pretending not to know that back to school time is just around the corner. But don't worry, with the new year comes new chances and new opportunities to make this one the best year yet.
Her middle name is Swahili, meaning love. The Black Queen of Cinema. The actress, Baraji Pendahensi.
Just walking through the door. This is Kato walking through the door. This is Kato walking down the steps.
We have somebody else who just walked into the studio. Now, I've been asking people, what is go-go music? Love you. Y'all help me out. I heard we're going to have some go-go here.
Yeah, what's up? My name is Preston Blue, Backbeat Records. We brought down Phase 2 band and show formerly known as Fatal Attraction. And they're going to be rocking over the weekend.
Okay, now what is go-go music?
Go-go music is it's the ultimate party music. I bought the authority on go-go. KatoHammond from TakeMeOutToTheGoGo.com.
Okay. Now, I remember during the summer, 90.1 had a big...
All right. And last up on today's edition of TMOTTGoGo is our edition of Viewers' Choice. Viewers' feedback. We would like to know what you would like to see on TMOTTGoGo. Me and Kato were having this discussion on how to make TMOTTGoGo the best TMOTTGoGo it can be. So go ahead and put your comments in. Let us know what you'd like to see in entertainment, news, politics, whatever area you feel like should be more focused on right here on TMOTTGoGo. Let us know and we'll get back to you.
We would do like the takeover, the In Crowd Takeover on the radio show, which was like all the guys weren't involved, and we would just kind of get on there and kind of talk about whatever we wanted to talk about. I don't remember the topics, but I remember that was probably a good show.
The name of the In Crowd was based on an interview that Preston and I had done with Stinky Dink. In that interview, Stinky Dink talked about you know, GoGo and everybody wanted to be in the In Crowd and all that kind of stuff. And, you know, a light bulb came up, Nina, and we hit brainstorming like we always used to be doing late at night or whatever. Let's call it the In Crowd, you know, boom, 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 building that whole thing.
The In Crowd, oh my goodness. The In Crowd was created by Nina Rabina Brown, Nina Bean, and Kato. The name came about from Kato. The N in In Crowd stands for necessary. And necessary is because she felt as though that in this group that we are, it's comprised of women that are working moms, they are bartenders, teachers, career women, just an all-around woman that pretty much is in the know.
What we were doing back then, especially on the radio show, like we were kind of like what the real is today, like all these shows that have just women on the panel. That's kind of what we were doing as far as the radio show was concerned. We kind of like, you know, got the men out of the way, and we would just have conversations amongst us girls talking about different topics. So I think that was always a good show.
We got together and talked a little bit about GoGo, but talked about women in GoGo, I think a little bit more. And like any industry, how it was a little bit harder for them. But yeah, we would get together and just have a good time. Just a group of individuals that meshed well together. I think we did a good job of that and in representing women working together and being together without conflict. You know, we had disagreements, but we talked through them. Like, okay, wait a minute, now. now. Okay, you know, everybody has an opinion and a thoughts. But we talked through things, and it was just great being with those girls and going out, you know, being recognized a little bit.
The members at that time were Nina, of course, myself,
it was R.E. Admin, it was Pink Princess,
Miss Maya, Miss Nina,
Skinny Pimp, Showtime,
Tyra,
Sheree,
Skinny Pimp, and it was Z,
Tanika.
But it was me, Maya, Nina,
Rochelle, and Danielle,
Tyra, and Tracy, I.E.
Yes, Lord Zakia.
Ambi, Danielle, Zakia.
And Zakia, okay. So there was 9 of goodness.
Zakia, Danielle, Rochelle,
and Miss Tanika was her stage name, but I'm drawing a blank on it. Skinny Pimp. Yes, rest in peace to my baby.
And I remember we used to come over here and we used to do the radio show. That was very fun.
Yes, the In Crowd. Oh, those were fun times, fun shows.
The purpose of the In Crowd was to pretty much be the street team for TMOTTGoGo. So whenever Kato wasn't coming outside and having a good time to boogie with us, we went to the shows to give Kato, we'll give TMOTTGoGo our feedback of whatever show we attended for the evening.
Listen, the In Crowd, I will never forget the In Crowd photo shoot, the In Crowd Christmas party, and the In Crowd radio interview when we were talking about relationships. And I think it was a specific topic, and if somebody wants to shout it out, I don't remember what that topic was, but it ended up pouring into the message board about that topic. And we had very different views on relationships or casual relationships, and I can't really recall what the big thing was, but I just remember it was a very fun conversation and passing that mic around.
Like I said, my friends that I met through TMOD, I'm forever grateful for TMOD for that. I think about it, but I never really think about it. But you know, they constantly remind me that I am a good person and I am a good friend. And that at the end of the day, to know me is to love me. Like you can't not like me if you know me.
It's the Take Me Out to the Go-Go 10-year TMOTTGoGo. Celebrate 10 years of service to the GoGo community with a spectacular live show. Sunday night, March 11th, 7 p.m. at the Lincoln Theater. Starring in concert, Rare Essence with James Funk and Little Bitty. Listen, the crew featuring Scooby, Tuffy, and O. The What Band with rapper and Michelle Blackwell. Also starring the Junkyard Band. Plus BET comedian Tommy Taylor. And hosted by Billy the Kid and Kid Cannon. With DJ Slick Rick on the 1 and 2. Advanced discount tickets on sale at all Ticketmaster. And online at Ticketmaster.com. Take me out to the GoGo 10-year anniversary celebration. With Rare Essence. Listen, the group, the What Band, and the Junkyard Band. Sunday night, March 11th, 7 p.m. at the Lincoln Theater. Be there!